Hello, welcome friends. Welcome to the session of Fundamentals of Sensors and Transducers. So myself, Professor Nikhil Bujbal from ENTC Department, KKO College of Engineering, Nasik. Previous session, we had discussed about definitions of sensors and transducers and classifications. In today's session, we will discuss about requirements of sensor interfacing, units, detectable phenomenon, physical principles, need and selection of sensors, and selection of transducer. Let us discuss requirement for interferencing. What are the basic requirements? One is matching. So what type of matching? Impedances matching, voltage, currents and power levels. Then there are some sort of transformations are needed, like from AC to DC, DC to AC, analog to digital, digital to analog, voltage to frequency, etc. Now there are different connection of sensors are there. In order to have a better interface, sensor must first be connected to the amplifier, then the amplifier is connected to actuators. So these process should be used as a general block, which includes microprocessors, amplifier, driver, etc. And matching means between the sensor and processors and actuators. Let us take one example of temperature control. Basically, this example is for measuring the temperature of a CPU. So it will send the temperature of a CPU, and based on that you can control the speed of a fan to keep the temperature constant. In temperature control system implementation inside the CPU, sometimes the A to D and signal conditioning are required, and both are separate from the processors. And whole circuitry may be integrated into a smart sensors as well. And match means the impedance at the input to the amplifier and at the processors. So there should be a matching between the impedances to have better interface between the amplifier and processors. Then alternative designs. It uses an integrated sensors that contain some of the necessary circuitry. It may still require A to D if it is not having any inbuilt A to D circuitries. And performance of this design is not the same, but there may be a range from 0 to 85 degrees Celsius, while the previous design may have range from minus 200 to 2000 degrees Celsius, or it may be more. Now units. In most of the cases, SI units are preferred, and standard units when understanding warrants like PSI for pressure, that is pounds per square inch, specific standard units are required in such cases. Generally, we need to avoid the mixing of units. That is always a common problem in sensors and actuators we always found. Now we'll talk about the detectable phenomena. Stimulus, as we know that. What do you mean by stimulus basically? It's a measurand. It's a physical quantity which is to be measured. Okay. So here the primary stimulus is acoustic, and what parameters of that stimulus is to be measured basically? What quantity to be measured? Like wave. You can measure the amplitude of wave, phase, polarization, spectrum, wave velocity. Likewise, there are various detectable phenomena like biological and chemical phenomena, electrical, magnetic, optical, thermal, mechanical. For biological and chemical, the fluid concentration may be detected. Then electrical, charge, voltage, current, electrical field, etc. In magnetic, the magnetic field, like its amplitude, phase, polarization, etc. In case of optical, the refractive index, reflectivity, absorptions, and in case of thermal, the temperature, flux, specific heat and thermal conductivity. And in case of mechanical phenomenon, you can detect the position, velocity, acceleration, force, strength, stress, pressure, torque, etc. Then what kind of basic physical principles are involved in all this? All of you know the Ampere's law. So current carrying conductor in a magnetic field experiences a force like the galvanometer. In Marie Curie's and Curie-Weiss law, there is a transition temperature at which the ferromagnetic material exhibit paramagnetic behavior. Then another principle involved is Faraday's law of induction. A coil resists a change in magnetic field by generating an opposing voltage or current, like transformer. And then photoconductive effect. So when light strikes a certain semiconductor material, the resistance of the material decreases. For example, photoresistor. The need of sensors. What is the need of sensor? Sensors are omnipresent, means presence everywhere. So they are embedded in our bodies, automobiles, aeroplanes, cellular telephones, radios, chemical plants, industrial plants, and countless other applications. Without the use of sensors, there would be no automation. So imagine having to manually fill woolen spring bottles. That is just an example. There are certain criteria based on which we need to choose sensors. So what are the different factors based on which we can choose a sensors? There are certain environmental factors, there are certain economical factors, and sensor characteristics are there. What kind of environmental factors help us to choose the sensors? Like temperature range, humidity effects, corrosion, size, overrange protection, robustness, power consumption, self-test capabilities, and economic factors like cost, its availability, and lifetime. And we'll talk about the sensor characteristics. Based on the sensitivity, you are going to choose a sensor because sometimes you need highly sensitive sensors for your application. Similarly, sometimes range matters a lot. If you want to measure a temperature up to 1000 degrees Celsius, so you must choose a sensor that will be compatible to measure that kind of temperature sensor, that kind of range. Stability, repeatability, linearity, all these characteristics are also important while choosing a sensor. While selecting a transducer, first some points you need to consider, must keep in mind. What is the physical quantity you are going to measure? Then which transducer principle can be best used to measure this quantity? Whether resistive principle, capacitive or inductive principle will be best matched with that application. Likewise. Then what accuracy is required for that measurement? While selecting a transducer, the accuracy requirements of total system basically determines the degree to which individual factors contributing to accuracy must be considered. So some of these factors are as follows. First is fundamental transducer parameter like type and range of measurement, then sensitivity and excitation. Then second is physical conditions, is mechanical and electrical connections, mounting provisions, corrosion resistance, etc. Then ambient conditions, so non-linearity effects, frequency response and resolution, and finally another factor is environmental conditions, which is very important nowadays, that is temperature effect, shocks and vibrations. So let's recap. In today's session we had discussed about requirements of interfacing, that we need, and then selection of sensors, what parameters we need to consider while selecting a transducer, etc. So thank you for your kind attention. Let's discuss some more details about fundamentals of sensors and transducers in the next session. Thank you so much. Welcome friends. We are discussing fundamentals of sensors and transducers. Myself Professor Nikhil Bhujbal from ENTC Department, KKO College of Engineering, Nasik. In the previous session we had discussed about definition of sensors and transducers and its classifications. In today's session we are going to discuss the requirements of sensor interfacing units, detectable phenomena, physical principles involved, need and selection of sensors, and selection of transducers. Let us discuss about requirements for interfacing. So what are the basic requirements of interfacing? First is matching, means your impedances, voltage levels, current levels and power levels must be matched. Then there are certain needs of transformation like from AC to DC, DC to AC, A to D converters, D to A conversion and V to F conversion, etc. Again, there is need of matching of specification like temperature range, environmental conditions, and some of the alternative design must also be available. Okay. Now we will talk about connection of sensors and actuators. Generally, sensors and actuator are connected with the help of amplifiers. The sensor outputs are connected to amplifier and output of amplifier is given to the actuators. So all this process should be used as a general block. It consisted microprocessor, amplifier, drivers, etc. And there should be a proper matching between the sensor, processors, and processor and actuators. Let us take an example of temperature control of a CPU. So here we are sensing the temperature of a CPU and with the help of which we can control the speed of fan to keep the temperature constant. Temperature control system for the CPU can be implemented, which includes sometimes the A to D or A to D conversion and signal conditioning. They may be separate from the processors or sometimes it may be inbuilt. So whole circuitry may be integrated into smart sensor itself as well. And there must be an impedance matching at the input to the amplifier and at the processors. Then what kind of alternative design as we discussed earlier? So it's simpler. So you can use an integrated sensor that contains some of the necessary circuitries and sometimes you may still require A to D conversions. The performance of this type of design is not the same because range is 0 to 85 degrees Celsius while the previous design may have minus 200 to 2000 degrees Celsius or more ranges. Then units. What kind of units? Mostly we can discuss about the SI units and there are certain standard units are there when understanding warrants like PSI. That is PSI means pounds per square inch for pressures. Generally, we try to avoid the mixed units, but there is a common problem of sensors and actuators relation to the units. There are certain detectable phenomena that depends upon the stimulus. If you are going to measure acoustic signals, then what kind of quantity basically you are going to measure? You are measuring the wave. But in case of a wave, what actual parameter you are going to measure? That amplitude of wave, phase, polarization, spectrum, wave velocity, etc. And likewise, the other stimulus like biological and chemical, electrical, magnetic, optical, thermal, mechanical, all these stimulus can also be measured and its respective parameters are being measured. Then there are certain physical principles are involved like Ampere's law. All of you know that the current carrying conductor in a magnetic field experience a force like galvanometer. And Curie-Weiss law. So there is a transition temperature at which ferromagnetic material exhibit paramagnetic behavior. Another is the Faraday's law of induction. So coil resists a change in magnetic field by generating an opposing voltage or current. Example is transformer. Similarly, there is a photoconductive effect. So when light strikes certain semiconductor materials, the resistance of the material decreases, like photoresistors are there. Now we will discuss about what is the need of sensors. Sensors are omnipresent, means present everywhere, and they are embedded in our bodies as well, like automobiles, aeroplanes, cellular telephones, radios, chemical plants, industrial plants, and countless for other applications. So without the use of sensor, there would be no automation. So imagine having to manually fill Poland spring bottles as an example. Choosing a sensor. How you are going to choose a sensor for your applications? There are three different factors which are responsible that how you are going to select a sensor for your application. There are certain environmental factors, economic factors, and there are certain sensors characteristics on the basis of which you can select a sensor for your applications. So what kind of environmental factors are there? There's temperature range, humidity effects, corrosion, size, overrange protection. Likewise, there are certain economical factors, cost, availability, lifetime, and sensor characteristics. Like sometimes for your application you will require sensitive sensor or range depending upon the requirement of range you are going to select the sensor, then stability, repeatability, linearity, etc. Then we go for selection a transistor. So while selecting a transistor, you need to consider certain parameters that what is the physical quantity you need to measure, which transistor principle can be the best used to measure this quantity, What accuracy is required for this measurement likewise. So accuracy requirements of the total system determines the degree to which the individual factors contributing to accuracy. It must be considered. So some of these factors are as follows. Fundamental transducer parameters like type and range of measure and sensitivity and excitation. There are certain physical conditions like mechanical and electrical connections, mounting provisions, corrosion resistance, and then ambient conditions like non-linearity effects, frequency response and resolutions, and then environmental conditions like temperature effect, shocks and vibrations. So that's all about today's sessions. So let's recap. In today's session, we discussed about the requirement of interfacing of sensors, how to choose a sensor for particular application, and how to choose a transducer, then certain physical phenomenons, principles, units, etc. So thank you for your kind attention. We will discuss more about the sensor and actuator in the next session. Thank you so much. Welcome friends. We are going to discuss fundamentals of sensors and transducer. Myself, Professor Nikhil Bhujbal from ENTC Department, KK College of Engineering, Nasik. In the previous session, we had discussed about definitions of sensors and transducer and classification of sensors and transducers. In today's session, we are going to discuss about requirements of sensor interfacing, unit, detectable phenomenon, physical principles, need and selection of sensors, and selection of transducers. First, we discuss about requirements of interfacing. So, requirement of interfacing is that there must be a matching of impedances, voltages, current levels, and power level. And sometimes there is need of transformation like AC to DC, DC to AC, analog to digital, digital to analog, then voltage to frequency, etc. Then matching of specifications as well is very important like temperature range, environmental conditions, etc. And there must be some sort of alternative design must also be available. Now let us discuss connections of sensors and transducers. So basically sensors and actuators are interconnected through an amplifier, and whole this process should be viewed as a general block which consisted microprocessors, amplifiers, drivers, etc. And there must be a matching between the sensors or processors and actuators. Let us take an example of measurement of temperature of a CPU. So we sense the temperature of a CPU in which with the help of which we can control the speed of the fan to keep the temperature constant. During temperature control implementation, sometimes the analog to digital converter and signal conditioning are required, and sometimes they are separated from the processors. And whole circuitry may also be integrated into a smart sensors, and there must be a match of impedance at the input to the amplifier and at the processors as well. And as I said, the alternative design must also be available. So there may be a simpler solution which may use an integrated sensor that contains some of the necessary circuitry. It may sometimes require an additional A to D converter if there is no inbuilt A to D conversion is available. The performance of this design is not the same because the range is from 0 to 85 degrees Celsius, while the previous design was for 200 minus 200 to 2000 degrees Celsius, or maybe for more range. Then we talk about the units. So mostly SI units are preferred everywhere, and there are some standard units when there is an understanding of warranties like PSI for pressure. PSI means pounds per square inch for pressure measurement. We generally avoid the mixing of units, but there is an issue regarding sensors and actuators. Now we will talk about the detectable phenomenon. Detectable phenomenon means as for particular measurement of quantity, suppose we are going to measure an acoustic, but what particular quantity of measurement we are going to do? We are measuring the wave. That means we are measuring the amplitude of the wave, phase, polarization, spectrum, and wave velocity. Similarly, there are different kind of stimulus like biological and chemical, in which fluid concentration is being measured. Likewise, there are various stimulus like electrical, magnetic, optical, thermal, and mechanical. Now we'll discuss what basic principles are involved behind this. What physical principles are there? First is Ampere's law. The current carrying conductor in a magnetic field experiences a force. For an example, galvanometer. Then Curie-Weis's law. There is a transition temperature at which the ferromagnetic material exhibit the paramagnetic behavior. Another physical principle is Faraday's law of induction. The coil resists a change in magnetic field by generating an opposing voltage or current, like in transformers. And another physical principle is the photoconductive effect. When light strikes certain semiconductor materials, the resistance of the material decreases, just like photoresistors. Now we will discuss the need of sensors. As we know that sensors are omnipresent, present everywhere. So they are also embedded in our bodies. Automobiles, airplanes, cellular telephone, radios, chemical plants, industrial plants, and countless other applications. So without the use of sensor, there would be no automation. So imagine having to manually fill Poland spring bottles. Now we will discuss about choosing a sensor for particular application. There are certain factors which are responsible to choose a specific sensor for application. Like environmental factors are there, economical factors and sensor characteristics are there. When we talk about the environmental factors like temperature range, humidity effects, corrosion, size, overrange product protection, ruggedness, power consumption, self-test capabilities. Likewise, there are some economical factors based on which we are going to select when sometimes users expected only a low cost solution, then cost will be a important parameter while choosing a sensors. Then its availability, lifetime. Then sensor characteristics matters a lot when there is a need of accuracy for particular application. That means you are going to choose a highly sensitive sensor in such applications. Then range means sometimes suppose you want to measure a temperature of a boiler, and boiler temperature basically ranges up to 1000 degrees Celsius or more than that. Then range matters a lot while selecting the sensors. Likewise, there are some another sensor characteristics like stability, repeatability, linearity, error, response time, frequency response, etc. Now we'll go towards selecting a transducer. So some parameters you need to consider while selecting a transducers are what physical quantity you are going to measure, then which transducer principle can be the best suited for measuring the particular quantity, and what accuracy is required for that measurement. So accuracy requirement of total system depends, or we can say it determine the degree to which the individual factors contributing to accuracy, and that must also be considered. Some of these factors are as follows. Fundamental transducer parameters means type and range of measurement, sensitivity and excitations. There are certain physical conditions like mechanical and electrical connections, mounting provisions, corrosion, resistance, etc. Then ambient conditions are there like nonlinearity effects, frequency response and resolution. And there are certain environmental conditions like temperature effects, shocks and vibrations. So that's all about today's discussion. Let's recap some of the points which we discussed today. We discussed about the requirement of sensor interfacing, what are the basic requirements are there, then how to select a sensor, how to select the transducers, okay, and also we discussed about certain physical principles which are involved in sensors and detectable phenomena. So thank you for your kind attention. We will have more discussion on fundamentals of sensors and transducers in the next sessions. So thank you. Thanks a lot.